guia de estilo e instruções para a síntese de fala. Este é o início da mensagem. Comece com energia total e um tom de comando, capturando a atenção imediatamente. If you are over 60 and you've ever fumbled for a name or misplaced your keys, listen closely. There are 3 ordinary foods you can add to your plate today that research suggests may help slow cognitive decline. This isn't hype. Scientific teams around the world have been studying diet and memory for years, and while nothing guarantees a perfect memory, what you eat is one of the most actionable things you can change. We'll name the 3 foods, explain how they work in plain language, point to the kinds of studies that support those links, and give practical, everyday tips so you can make them part of your life without fuss. If this sounds useful, stay until the end. Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which one surprised you most so we can learn together. Number 3. Berries, especially blueberries. You can taste them before you read the science. A small, cool bite of blueberry is a bright, tangy pop against oatmeal or yogurt. That pop matters. Berries are rich in anthocyanins and other flavonoids, plant pigments that give them their deep blue, red, and purple colors. In straightforward terms, these compounds act like little signal helpers in the brain. Laboratory research and several human studies suggest they reduce inflammation and improve communication between neurons. One long-running study from a university research group found that people who ate berries more often showed slower rates of cognitive decline compared with those who ate them rarely, though results are reported as associations rather than proof of cause and effect. Imagine your brain's wiring as a dusty little garden path. The anthocyanins help clear that path, reducing oxidative stress and aiding the tiny chemical signals your brain cells use to talk to each other. Practical tip: you don't need a heaping bowl every day. Aim for a cup of berries several times a week. Fresh is lovely, but frozen berries are almost as good nutritionally because they're picked and frozen at peak ripeness. That means frozen blueberries are a great, often cheaper choice. Pro tip: keep a bag of frozen berries in your freezer and add a handful to morning oatmeal or blend them into a small smoothie with plain yogurt and a sprinkle of ground flaxseed for an extra omega boost. If you take medications that affect blood sugar or blood thinning, check with your clinician. Berries are safe for most people, but it's wise to confirm. You'll hear some people say blueberry juice or berry supplements will do the job. Evidence suggests whole fruits are better because fiber and other compounds work together. Avoid relying on sugary juices. Also, when you see a study claim like X% improvement, note that researchers usually qualify those numbers as reported by and link them to population-level trends, not guaranteed outcomes for any single person. Store seus berries na frige unwashed in a shallow dish lined with paper towel and use within a few days for fresh berries, or keep the frozen bag for months. Number 2. Fatty fish, rich in omega-3s, notably DHA. Picture a fillet of salmon gently sizzling in a skillet, steam carrying a soft, savory scent. The fats that make salmon taste rich, docosahexaenoic acid, DHA, and eicosapentaenoic acid, EPA, are components of the membranes around brain cells. Research from nutrition departments and neurology journals links higher intake of these long-chain omega-3s with better preservation of brain volume and function in older adults, an association observed in cohort studies from groups such as researchers at Harvard-affiliated teams and others around the world. Again, the cautious phrasing. Studies suggest an association. They don't claim every person who eats fish will avoid memory loss. But on a population level, people who include fatty fish in their diet more regularly tend to show slower cognitive decline. Mechanism in plain language. Think of cell membranes like soap bubbles. DHA helps keep those bubbles flexible so messages pass cleanly between cells. Practical guidance. Aim for 2 servings of fatty fish per week if you can. Salmon, mackerel, sardines, trout. If fresh fish isn't available or your budget is tight, canned salmon or sardines are practical, shelf-stable options that still supply DHA. Pro tip: if frying makes you nervous, try baking or pan-searing with a little olive oil and lemon. Add herbs like dill or parsley for flavor without extra salt. If you're on blood-thinning medication or have special dietary needs, check with your physician before increasing fatty fish dramatically. For those who don't eat seafood, some plant sources provide short-chain omega-3s, like flaxseed and chia, but the body converts those to DHA less efficiently. Speak with a healthcare provider about whether a marine-derived supplement is appropriate for you. Number 1. Leafy greens, spinach, kale, collard greens, and their kin. This is the one that often surprises people because you don't need a plate piled with them every day to see a difference. Moderate, consistent intake is what studies point to. Large observational research, including results reported by teams like the Rush Memory and Aging Project, indicates that people who ate a serving or 2 of leafy greens most days had a slower rate of cognitive decline than those who rarely ate them. Again, the careful phrasing. These findings show an association reported by researchers. They do not claim a guaranteed cure. What's in leafy greens that helps? Folate, vitamin K, lutein, and simple nitrates contribute. Folate supports metabolic processes tied to brain health. Vitamin K is linked to cell signaling, and lutein accumulates in the brain where it may play a protective role. Put simply, leafy greens supply nutrients that support the cellular machinery of memory. Practical tip: aim for at least a handful of leafy greens most days. Raw in salads, lightly sautéed with garlic and olive oil, or blended into soups and smoothies. Variety helps you keep them on your plate. Avoid overcooking. Long, high-heat exposure can reduce some water-soluble vitamins. Pro tip: if you grow herbs or small greens in a sunny window box, you'll find adding a few fresh leaves to a dish is easier than thinking of a meal with greens. Microgreens pack a nutrient punch and work well on toast or scrambled eggs. If you take blood thinners, keep your clinician informed about dietary vitamin K changes. You don't need to avoid greens, but consistency can help medication management. Let me bring this to life with a scene from a neighborhood that might feel familiar. Evelyn patted the countertop with a dish towel as steam curled from the skillet where a fillet of salmon browned. The afternoon light caught the navy flecks in her mug and the frost on a bag of frozen blueberries beside the cutting board. Her son, Daniel, sat at the table with a small notepad sketching a shopping list. "You're turning this kitchen into a memory clinic," he said. But there was no judgment, only the soft curiosity of someone who watches his mother use food as medicine. Evelyn laughed, the sound thin and warm. "After forgetting the name of the lady from Bridge last week, I figured something had to give." She tapped the salmon. "I read an article that said eating fish might help the brain. I don't want miracle promises, but I'll try what's sensible." "You remember where you put your knitting needles last time you tidied the drawer," Daniel said. "Maybe it's about the whole routine: sleep, walks, and what you eat." They spoke about the studies in a practical way. Daniel mentioned a report he'd skimmed, something in neurology, and also a long study from Rush, and Evelyn nodded. They both heard the caveat in news pieces: associations, not guarantees. But it was a hopeful thread. That evening, they plated the salmon, added a scattering of wilted spinach bright with lemon, and sprinkled thawed blueberries over a small bowl of plain yogurt for dessert. The meal smelled of citrus and warm oil. The textures, silky fish, tender greens, the burst of berry, felt comforting and deliberate. Dialogues like this matter because change often comes as small, repeatable acts rather than dramatic overhauls. If you're cooking for one, for two, or with a busy schedule, think in terms of tiny wins. Keep a bag of frozen berries on hand. Schedule a fish night twice a week. Toss a few handfuls of greens into a lunchtime salad or omelet. The cumulative effect of these choices is what the research tracks. Now, a few practical questions people often ask. How much is enough? Can supplements replace food? Are there risks? Start with balance. For berries and leafy greens, consistent intake, several times a week, shows the associations researchers report. For fatty fish, 2 servings per week is a commonly used benchmark in nutrition studies that examine cognitive outcomes. Supplements can help in cases of deficiency or when diet is restricted, but they're not a free pass. Whole food sources deliver a matrix of nutrients and fiber that supplements don't replicate. Always tell your healthcare provider before starting a new supplement, particularly if you're taking medications. You might also wonder about taste and budget. Frozen berries are cost-effective and retain nutrients well. Canned fatty fish, like salmon and sardines, often come at a lower price and are convenient. Look for varieties packed in water or olive oil and check sodium levels. For leafy greens, shop seasonal. Buy in smaller quantities or consider pre-washed baby greens if mobility or vision makes washing produce difficult. A small window box or community garden can provide affordable access and the added benefits of mild physical activity and social connection, the same lifestyle factors that support brain health. Let's return to Evelyn for a moment. A month after she changed a few habits, she told Daniel, "I still misplace the occasional thing, but I feel sharper when I'm reading the paper in the morning." She wasn't claiming miracles. She was claiming better mornings. That's the realistic optimism you want. Measurable, modest improvements that sustain motivation. There are good reasons researchers focus on dietary patterns rather than single magic foods. The Mediterranean and MIND diets, approaches that emphasize vegetables, legumes, whole grains, fish, and healthy fats, are repeatedly associated with lower risk of cognitive decline in epidemiological studies. The 3 foods we've highlighted are anchors within those patterns. They're not the whole program. Sleep, social engagement, cardiovascular health, blood pressure control, and regular physical activity all interact with diet to influence brain aging. You deserve straightforward steps you can apply now. Here are concise, practical actions you can take this week. Plan 1 fish meal. Add berries to breakfast 3 times. Include leafy greens in 2 dinners. Keep it simple. If meal planning feels daunting, start with a single reliable purchase: frozen blueberries, a can of salmon, a bag of baby spinach, and build from there. For cooking tips, bake fish at moderate temperature with a splash of olive oil and lemon to preserve healthy fats. Thaw blueberries in the fridge overnight, or add them frozen to hot cereal. Sauté greens briefly with garlic to maximize flavor and preserve nutrients. Before we move on, a short note about sources. The links and study references discussed here, the cohort work examining diet and cognitive decline, and trials investigating omega-3s and brain structure, are the kind of material you'll find cited by academic groups, such as Harvard Th. Chan School of Public Health, Rush University's Memory and Aging Project, and peer-reviewed journals like Neurology and the Journal of Nutrition. In this piece, I'm careful to say research suggests and is associated with, because that is how scientists report findings. Full citations and links will be provided in the description for you to read in depth and to share with your clinician. A common worry is whether changing diet at 65 or 70 is too late. Evidence does not say it's too late. Many studies observe benefits when people improve diet mid to later life. Brain health responds to sustained, healthy choices. Think of it as investment. Modest contributions now can support better outcomes later. You may also run into myths that only supplements matter, or that a single superfood will shield you from cognitive decline. The truth is more nuanced. Whole dietary patterns and lifestyle habits sustained over time show the strongest and most consistent associations with better cognitive aging. The 3 foods here are practical anchors, easy to fit into daily life, and backed by a body of research that, while not definitive, is supportive enough to warrant action. In the coming sections, we'll dive deeper into meal ideas, a week-long sample menu that includes these 3 foods without feeling like a diet, and answers to reader questions about safety, portion sizes, and alternatives for those with dietary restrictions. We will also hear short voices from neighbors and caregivers who share how small changes shaped daily life. And we'll cover how to talk with your healthcare provider about diet changes and possible supplements. If you'd like us to include printable shopping lists or simple recipes, say so in the comments. Your requests guide what we prepare next. For now, picture your plate. A moderate portion of fatty fish, a small bowl of mixed berries with plain yogurt, and a side of sautéed greens. The colors alone, deep blue, rich green, golden brown fish, are inviting. The textures are varied and satisfying. The routine of preparing that plate is itself nourishing. It brings movement, sensory pleasure, and a small ritual that roots your day. Remember the practical cautions. If you're on medications, check with your provider about fish intake or supplements. If you have swallowing or dental issues, soft-cooked greens and mashed berries can work. If cost is a concern, frozen and canned options are acceptable. The objective is steady, manageable changes rather than perfection. You are not alone in this. Many people your age are experimenting, swapping one snack, trying a fish recipe, adding berries to cereal, and reporting small but meaningful improvements in daily function and mood. The science is not a guarantee, but it's a strong nudge towards choices that support brain health and overall well-being. Lunch, sandwich with tuna and plenty of leafy greens. Snack, handful of pumpkin seeds. Dinner, baked sardines or small fillets with lemon and herbs. Side of roasted Brussels sprouts and sautéed spinach. Day 7. Breakfast, yogurt parfait. Plain yogurt, 1/2 cup mixed berries, a sprinkle of granola. Lunch, grain bowl with flaked tuna, spinach, roasted vegetables. Snack, orange. Dinner, salmon cakes made with mashed salmon, egg, oats, served with steamed greens. Quick, sensory cooking scenes and simple recipes. Baked lemon olive salmon. Preheat oven to moderate heat. Place a 3 to 4 ounce salmon fillet on parchment. Brush lightly with olive oil. Squeeze half a lemon over it. Sprinkle with salt, pepper, and chopped parsley. Roast until the flesh flakes easily, about 12 to 15 minutes depending on thickness. Aroma, warm lemon, and the fat of the fish opening into a golden crust. Blueberry yogurt parfait. Layer plain yogurt, thawed or fresh berries, and a small spoon of crushed nuts. Texture, cool creaminess, bright pop of berry, gentle crunch. Sautéed garlic greens. Heat a tablespoon of olive oil, add 1 clove garlic gently crushed. Then toss in torn greens, spinach, chard, or kale. Sauté briefly, 30 to 90 seconds for spinach, a few minutes for heartier greens. Season with a squeeze of lemon. Sound, the soft hiss of oil. Smell, garlic and citrus lifting the green scent. Fish mash for swallowing or dental issues. Poach a fillet until soft. Flake, then mash with a fork, adding a little warm stock or yogurt until smooth. Stir in soft cooked greens, finely chopped or pureed for color and nutrients. Portions and practical notes. What counts as a serving? Fatty fish, aim for about 3 to 4 ounce, about the size of a deck of cards or the palm of your hand. 2 to 3 servings per week is a reasonable target for many people. If you cannot eat fish, include plant sources of omega-3s, ground flaxseed, chia, walnuts, and discuss algae-based DHA-DAPA supplements with your clinician. Berries, 1/2 to 1 cup per serving. Frozen berries are as nutritious as fresh and often cheaper. Leafy greens, 1 cup cooked or 2 cups raw for a single serving. If you take warfarin, keep your intake consistent and talk to your provider. Do not stop greens abruptly. Safety, medications, and talking points for your clinician. Always bring your medication list, including over-the-counter supplements, when you discuss diet changes. Key conversation items. Anticoagulants, warfarin. Leafy greens are high in vitamin K and can affect dosing. The goal is consistency, not avoidance. Ask how to balance green vegetables with your current regimen. Antiplatelet drugs or bleeding risk. High-dose fish oil can increase bleeding tendency for some people. Ask your clinician whether an omega-3 supplement is safe for you and what dose, if any, is appropriate. Kidney disease or sodium limits. Choose low-sodium canned fish and avoid added salt. Discuss protein targets if you have chronic kidney disease. Diabetes. Berries are lower glycemic than many fruits, but watch portions and pair with protein to blunt blood sugar spikes. Allergies. Shellfish is a common allergen. If you have reactions, choose non-shellfish options like salmon, sardines, or plant-based omega-3s. Budget, shopping, and prep tips. Buy frozen fish and berries. Flash frozen options retain nutrients and are often less expensive. Canned salmon and sardines are nutrient-dense and shelf-stable. Choose low-sodium varieties when possible. Batch cook greens and fish on one day. Portion and refrigerate or freeze for quick meals. For calcium and bone benefits, consider canned salmon with bones, mashed if you tolerate it. Voices from neighbors and caregivers. My husband would skip dinner until I served something colorful, said Maria, a caregiver. When I started making a small salmon fillet and a bowl of berries, he ate better and slept more soundly. It was the routine as much as the food. I'm on a tight budget, said Ray, 72. Frozen mackerel and a big bag of frozen spinach keep me covered for weeks. I mix spinach into soups and smoothies, no trouble swallowing. After her stroke, we needed softer textures, explained Nurse Aisha. We pureed berries into compote and flaked fish into mashed potatoes. She enjoyed the taste, and it brought back pleasure at mealtimes. Common reader questions answered. Briefly, is one food enough? No. Evidence favors patterns. Use fish, berries, and greens as regular anchors within a varied plate. Are supplements a substitute? Not necessarily. Trials are mixed. Whole food sources come with other nutrients. If considering supplements, review dose and safety with your clinician. How quickly will I notice changes? there's no guarantee of immediate improvement. People often report small gains in mood, energy, and routine within weeks. Structural brain benefits require sustained habits over months and years. If you want printable shopping lists, simple one-page recipes, or a shorter version of the week menu formatted for the fridge, let us know in the comments, and we'll prepare those resources. Meanwhile, try one new recipe this week. Start small, notice how it feels, and tweak it to fit your tastes and routine. The next section will offer more meal prep strategies and substitutions for vegetarian and budget-conscious readers. Meal prep strategies that actually work for older adults. Start with a plan that fits energy and attention. A full day's cooking once a week is neither realistic nor necessary for many caregivers and older cooks. Instead, aim for 2 short sessions. One longer, 60 to 90 minutes, and one short, 20 to 30 minutes. The long session is for the batch cooking proteins, grains, and a couple of versatile sauces. The short session is for assembling meals, reheating, and making fresh salads or smoothies. Basic blueprint for a 2-session week. Session A, 60 to 90 minutes, e.g. Sunday. Cook 2 to 3 portions of a fatty fish or canned salmon or sardines, 3 to 4 cups of cooked legumes, lentils, beans, a large pan of roasted root vegetables, a pot of whole grains, brown rice, quinoa, or oats. Make 1 bulk sauce or topper, garlic yogurt dressing, simple tomato lentil ragu, tahini lemon sauce. Portion. Divide into single meal containers, aim for balanced plates, protein plus veg plus grain. Label, date, and basic reheating instructions. Session B, 20 to 30 minutes, midweek. Refresh. Reheat a cooked grain and add fresh wilted greens or a quick stir-fry. Assemble a mason jar salad or a yogurt bowl with thawed berries and nuts. Make a fresh snack, energy bites, or a small batch of compote. Keep textures and swallowing needs in mind. For people with chewing or swallowing difficulty, plan both regular and softened versions. Mash or flake fish, pulse beans into a smoother spread. Cook grains a bit longer to soften. Blend soups to a velvety consistency. Use warm stock, milk, or yogurt to adjust thickness. Add a spoon of olive oil or butter for mouthfeel and calories. If a clinician has recommended a specific liquid thickness, prepare both thin and thickened versions as appropriate and label them clearly. Vegetarian and budget-friendly substitutions. Protein targets still matter. Aim roughly for 20 to 30 grams protein per main meal for many older adults, adjusting by size and health goals. High-protein, low-cost vegetarian options. Canned beans and lentils, inexpensive, versatile, and ready after rinsing. Mash with olive oil and lemon for a flavorful spread. Dried lentils, cook quickly, 20 to 25 minutes, and hold up well in soups, stews, and salads. Eggs, scrambled, hard-boiled, or baked into a frittata, high biological value protein and often budget-friendly. Tofu and tempeh, buy on sale, press and marinate, pan-sear or cube into stews. Dairy and fortified plant milks. Greek yogurt and cottage cheese provide concentrated protein. Fortified soy milk gives calcium and vitamin D with protein. Nuts, seeds, and nut butters. Small portions add protein, calories, and healthy fats. Stir into porridge or blend into smoothies. Chia, flax, and hemp. Add omega-3s and texture. Use ground flax in baking and chia for puddings. Protein boosting techniques for meals. Stir a spoonful of Greek yogurt or cottage cheese into soups or mashed vegetables. Add powdered milk or protein powder, unflavored or savory collagen to sauces, porridges, and smoothies. Check for added sugar and consult a clinician if renal disease is present. Top bowls with chopped hard-boiled egg, flaked fish, or toasted chickpeas for easy protein and crunch. Simple, freezer-friendly recipes stretches budget and time. Lentil tomato ragu. Sauté onion and carrot, add red lentils, canned crushed tomato, herbs, and simmer until thick. Portion, cool, freeze in single servings. Reheat and serve over rice or soft polenta. Spinach and white bean soup blendable. Sauté garlic, add canned cannellini beans, stock, and spinach. Simmer and blend to smooth for easier swallowing. Stir in olive oil and lemon before serving. Savory egg muffins. Beaten eggs with spinach, cheese, and diced tomato, baked in muffin tins. Refrigerate 3 to 4 days or freeze. Reheat gently. Berry yogurt compote. Simmer frozen berries with a little water and orange juice until slightly thickened. Sweeten minimally. Serve warm over yogurt or porridge. Mashed salmon and sweet potato. Roast or poach salmon, mash with cooked sweet potato and a touch of milk or yogurt for a nutrient-dense, soft plate. Smart shopping and pantry staples for lower cost. Frozen fish, vegetables, and fruit, often cheaper and just as nutritious. Canned fish, sardines, salmon, low-sodium beans, canned tomatoes. Dry staples, oats, brown rice, lentils, chickpeas, quinoa, buy on sale. Condiments, olive oil, vinegars, miso paste, tahini, low-sodium soy sauce, small amounts go far for flavor. Spices and aromatics, garlic, onion, dried herbs, smoked paprika, these make inexpensive foods taste satisfying. Portioning, labeling, and safety. Use clear containers with date labels and reheating instructions. Reheat to steaming hot, stir, cool to safe temperature before feeding. Refrigerate leftovers within 2 hours, eat within 3 to 4 days, or freeze for longer storage. Reheat thoroughly. 165 degrees Fahrenheit, 74 Celsius, recommended for most leftovers. And check texture for swallowing safety. For very frail or immunocompromised people, avoid raw sprouts, undercooked eggs, and unpasteurized dairy unless cleared by a clinician. Snack and small meal ideas for low appetite. Smoothie with fortified soy milk, a scoop of nut butter, banana, and a handful of frozen berries. Calorie and nutrient dense and easy to sip. Greek yogurt with honey and ground flax or a scoop of nut butter mixed in. Hummus with soft steamed carrot sticks or pita bread. Small containers of cottage cheese with diced canned peaches. Soft energy bites. Oats, nut butter, mashed banana, and chia. No baking required. Fortifying meals without changing favorite flavors. Add a tablespoon of olive oil or butter to mashed potatoes, soups, or purees. Stir nut butter or powdered milk into porridge. Fold pureed white beans into sauces to thicken and add protein invisibly. Sprinkle ground flaxseed over cereal or yogurt for omega-3s and fiber. Medication, fiber, and timing reminders. If someone takes medications that interact with fiber, for example,
Guia de estilo e instruções para a síntese de fala. Você é um narrador palestrante com voz potente, forte e autoritária. O tom deve ser firme e inabalável. Contexto de continuidade. A frase anterior era takes medications that interact with fiber, e.g., certain absorption issues. Esta é a conclusão. Aumente a emoção para o nível máximo, mantendo a potência, e termine com uma pausa solene e impactante. For people on warfarin, keep vitamin K intake steady. Don't suddenly cut out greens. Instead, maintain a consistent pattern and discuss dosing with the prescriber. If appetite is poor in the morning, shift larger meals to times when the person eats best and offer nutrient-dense liquids during low appetite windows. Hydration tactics. Offer small, attractive cups frequently, rather than large drinks that seem daunting. Infuse water with fruit or herbs for flavor. Include hydrating foods. Soups, stewed fruits, smoothies, and yogurt can all contribute to fluid intake. For people who tire of plain water, try diluted fruit juice, milk, or herbal teas. Mind sugar limits if diabetic. Working with limited kitchens, caregivers, and time constraints. One-pot dishes reduce cleanup and simplify cooking. Use appliances wisely. A microwave steamer, rice cooker, or slow cooker can save hands-on time and produce soft textures. Encourage simple rituals. Set a timer for meals, dim the lights a little for a calm atmosphere, and plate food attractively with contrasting colors to stimulate appetite. Engaging the older adult in choices. Offer 2 options rather than yes-no. Would you like yogurt with blueberries or cottage cheese with peaches? Choices help preserve dignity and increase cooperation. Respect sensory changes. Boost flavors with herb blends, a squeeze of lemon, or a dash of smoked paprika, rather than more salt. Small portions can reduce intimidation. Serve smaller amounts and offer seconds easily. Caregiver quick checklist for a safe, nutritious week. Plan 2 cooking sessions and a short midweek refresh. Include at least 1 fatty fish or fortified alternative and 1 plant protein source each day. Prepare at least 1 soft or blended option if chewing or swallowing is an issue. Label everything with date and reheating instructions. Keep a stash of shelf-stable protein, canned fish, beans, nut butter for emergencies. Discuss any diet changes with the clinician, especially when medications or chronic conditions are present. If you'd like, I can turn this into a printable 1-page fridge menu, a 2-column shopping list, perishables versus pantry, and 3 weeknight recipes with step-by-step photos and texture variants, soft, chopped, blended. Just tell me which format you prefer and whether there are any allergies or dietary limits to respect. E inspire.